the lineup from here. I don't know.
Do you have a content library on it?
Yeah. I would.
Ask ChatGPT, give me a nice script how to begin this. Ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Level 1 Wahoo Gala. We are going to start with our first race of the day. It is the women's under 16 50 meter freestyle. In Heat 1, lane 3 we have Chloe, lane 4 Linkle, lane 5 Zander, lane 6 Isabella, lane 7 Mackenzo, and lane 8 Ntanda. Nice big dive from all of the girls. Arms spinning. Big shouting from the crowd on the side. Hey, coming in, we've got lanes 4, 7, and 8, all turning right at the same time. There's Linkle, Mackenzo, and Ntanda. Big swimming, look at those arms. She's working really hard. Looks like maybe Mackenzo will get there, but maybe Linkle just pips it at the end. Well done to all these girls. We have Alia, lane 2 Isabella, lane 7 Amakle, lane 4 Olivia, lane 5 Robin, lane 6 Gemma, lane 7 Layla, lane 8 Jessica Taylor, lane 9 Cadence, and lane 10 Amelia. This is something new for the kids. They will do an overhead start, which means that the swimmers must be on the tee, sit with their arms over the lane rope and their feet under, just to allow the other swimmers to start already. Officials just asking the timekeepers to help the swimmers. This is the first time that they've probably done anything like this. So next heat up on the blocks now. big dives, swinging the arms. We've got a really strong start there, looks like in lane 5 of Robin. We're going to watch her come into turn here. Big tumble turn, big push off. Oh, and it looks like on the far side, lane 8, Jessica Taylor is also coming in hot. It does look like Robin has it. Oh, but Jessica Taylor's going to make it really difficult for her. And there we have Robin coming home, followed by Jessica Taylor, and then Olivia in lane 4. Big swim from all of those swimmers. On your screens here is a Machle, working really hard, swinging those arms. Great job, ladies. We now move on to heat number 3. Excuse me. In lane 1, we have Muena. Lane 2, Neo. Lane 3, Katara. Lane 4, Pia. Lane 5, Kyra. Lane 6, Selena. Lane 7, Kendall. Lane 8, Emily. Lane 9, Kaylin. And lane 10, Emma. Big splashes, big dives. It looks like we have an early lead from lane 9 on the far side. That's Kaylin. But also in lane 2 on this side is Neo. She's fighting back. Nice tumbles. You can see them both tumbling very quickly. It does look like on the far side there's Kaylin. We'll get a close-up view of her now. She comes in, but Neo is also fighting on this far side. Big swim from her. She can be very impressed with herself. And coming in third, we'll have Kyra. Well done. Good swim to all the girls. We now move on to heat number 4. In lane 1, Alice. Lane 2, Kenzie. Lane 3, Addison. Lane 4, Gabriella. Lane 5, Mohato. Lane 6, Rory Sang. Lane 7, Amani. Lane 8, Hinal. Lane 9, Ramika Ella. And lane 10, Shikaina. Lovely work from all the ladies. We have Shekinah out in lane 10 with an early start. She's swinging her arms. And also in lane 3 of Addison. She's now pulling ahead ever so slightly. We'll see her turn first. Nice tumble turn. Big push off the wall. You can see that's put her up in the lead a little bit. We'll follow her a little bit closer now. It's Addison coming in. We have a very close race in the rest of the pack. Looks like... Oh, well done. Looks like Mohato just caught it ahead of Vorisang, but that was a very, very, very close finish. Well done to those ladies. We now move on to heat number 5. In lane 1, Kara. Lane 2, Tsakile. Lane 3, Sophia. Lane 4, Hannah. Lane 5, Kwan. Lane 6, Somila. Lane 7, Ashley. Lane 8, Annabelle. Lane 9, Milani. And lane 10, Nuha. Big kicks from all the ladies trying to swing their arms. We just had a goggle fix in the middle, but she's off again. Quite close in this race. Not really anyone that is taking the lead so far. We have Takile, who probably touched first. But Sophia is fighting back, and she has a little bit of a lead now. Takile is still in it. She's pushing back. Out in lane 5, we had Kawan. She looks like she might take it. It's going to be a close finish here. Well done. It looks like we had Sophia, followed by Kawan, and then Sakile. Really strong swim from all of these ladies. We now move on to heat number 6 of this women under 16 50-meter freestyle. In lane 1, Lily. Lane 2, Olivia. Lane 3, Willow. Lane 4, Philippa. Lane 5, Mika. Lane 6, Jessica. Lane 7, Katie. Lane 8, Mila. Lane 9, Emma. And lane 10, Sophia. Timekeeper's just checking something out. Just sorting that out before the next heat will now get onto the block. Hey, looks like we have a little bit of an early lead there from lane 4, which is Philippa. Looks like she's going to turn first, but Lily out in lane 1 is also chasing her down. Philippa's got probably about a half a body length ahead of her. Mika out in lane 5 is chasing her as well. Nice gliding, easy strokes. As a phenomenal swim there by Philippa, followed by Mika and Lily out in lane 1. Great work, ladies. We now move on to heat number 7. Lane 1, Paige. Lane 2, Ane. Lane 3, Kimberly. Lane 4, Lona. Lane 5, Tabo. Lane 6, Chloe. Lane 7, Atrissa. Lane 8, Isabella. Lane 9, Ria Betswe. And lane 10, Shaluva. Nice strong race from everyone. It looks like Kimberly out in lane 3 will just touch first, but anything could happen in the second 25. Like I said, we've got lots of people fighting back. We have Ane out in lane 2, trying to get her name in it. All the way on the far side, even in lane 7, we have a Teresa. And it looks like Kimberly takes it. Even Shaluva out in lane 10 had a really great swim. That was great work from all the ladies. We now move on to heat number 8. Lane 1, Nina. Lane 2, Tomilola. Lane 3, Leah. Lane 4, Ava. Lane 5, Blakely. Lane 6, Jamie. Lane 7, Ayanda. Lane 8, Kiante. Lane 9, Mackenzie. And lane 10, Arabella. If you are watching the stream, we would love to hear from you. Please let us know who you are supporting. We'll give a little shout out. We'd love to hear from you. Looked like out in lane 8, Kiante, she came up out of the water from her dive first. Here's Tomilola, who did a phenomenal first 25. Nice gliding through. Opts not for a tumble turn. Looks like her and Kiante, they are fighting it out for this first place in this heat. Looks like out on the far side, that is Kiante in lane 8. It looks like she's going to take it. Head of Tomilola. Rest of the pack very close together. That was a great race to watch. Now going to move on to heat number 9. Lane 1, Isla. Lane 2, Bly. Lane 3, Ava. Lane 4, Delani. Lane 5, Kenzie. Lane 6, Revo. Lane 7, Gabriella. Lane 8, Oratile. Lane 9, Kaylin. And lane 10, Nolani. Looks like out in lane 9, Kaylin, she got a very quick start. Nice big 25, but it looks very close with the rest of the pack. All turning quite close together. But Kaylin has had a nice turn. She's given herself about a body length. But we've got here in lane 4, this Delane, she is fighting back, as well as Kenzie in lane 5. But it does look like Kaylin will come home comfortably with us first place in that heat. She had a very strong swim, good 25, even better turn. And nice to bring it home for the finish. We now move on to heat number 10. In lane 1, Ruby. Lane 2, Mika. Lane 3, Zoe. Lane 4, Lelubo. Lane 5, Aneska. Lane 6, Jade. Lane 7, Michaela. Lane 8, Zoe. Lane 9, Charlotte. And lane 10, Kendra. This is our final heat for the women's 50-meter freestyle. After this, we'll move on to the men. But a quick start here from Mika in lane 2. She was up out of the water first. Oh, these ladies are blitzing. There's not much in it now going into the turn. Looks like everyone turned at the same time. Oh, it's really difficult to tell. 4, 5, 6, and 7. That's Lulubo, Ineska, Jade, and Michaela, all right next to each other. I don't know who's going to take it. Whoa, that is phenomenal. What a swim. What a swim. I really don't know who took that. I have a feeling that it was Michaela out in lane 7, but that was a great swim. Very exciting to watch. We are now moving on to our men under 16 50 meters freestyle. Heat 1, lane 2 we have Ben, lane 3 Jaden, lane 4 Caleb, lane 5 Jace, lane 6 Cole, lane 7 Noel, lane 8 Lesedi, and lane 9 Noah. Again, please give us a shout out if you are watching. We would love to hear from you. Also, if you are watching from afar, please let us know where you are watching from. We love to know that we can bring your loved ones' galas to you wherever you are in the world. Up they get, onto the block. Very close in the middle of the pack at the moment. We'll see them as they come in for their turn. Looks like lanes 5, 6, and 7. So that's Jace, Cole, and Noel. Noel had a phenomenal turn. Can hear lots of shouting for loved ones on the side of the pool here. A great swim there by Noel, followed by Jace and Cole. It's a very strong swim from those boys. Again, the officials just explaining what it means for an overhead start so that these boys understand where they need to be for the next heat of swimmers to start. And with that being said, we move on to heat number 2. In lane 1, we have Keshav, lane 2, Nathan, lane 3, Chuma, lane 4, Lacanyo, lane 5, Jude, lane 6, Buchule, lane 7, Asha, lane 8, Ethan, lane 9, Chris, and lane 10, Ayanda. Strong swim there by Jude in lane 5. He's already got a body length ahead of him as he comes into the turn. What a phenomenal first 25 he's had. We'll follow him a little bit closely now as he comes home. He's going to have 2 to 3 body lengths at the end of this. What a phenomenal race. Chasing him down though in lane 2 is Nathan, and very close. He comes home, followed by Chuma. Great swim. Jude can really be proud of that. That was a phenomenal swim. We have one swimmer, just Ayanda, in the water. He's on the very far end of your screen. He's working really hard to bring this home. It is a long way to swim for these boys. Okay, we now move on to heat number 3 in lane 1. Lane 1, we have Lenge. Lane 2, Oliver. Lane 3, apologies. Lane 3, Soren. Lane 4, Michael. Lane 5, Hayden. Lane 6, Mihan. Lane 7, Jake. Lane 8, Olerato. Lane 6, Hugh. And lane 10, Neil. And off they go. And out in the far lane, that's Neil. He is blitzing. He is cruising through that water. We can see him on the far end. He has such a lovely lead already, just like we saw Jude in the previous heats. Next we have lane 6 of Mihan. There we go, we can see on your screens. There's Neil. What a great swim from him. He's just cruising. Mihan will come in second place, and it's a fight for third, but I do believe that Hugh out in lane 9 has taken that in this heat. We have 7 heats of this boys under 16 50 meter freestyle. We now move on to heat number 4. Lane 1, Max. Lane 2, Alexander. Lane 3, Kyle. Lane 4, Philip. Lane 5, Joshua. Lane 6, Max. Lane 7, Samuel. Lane 8, Jonathan. Lane 9, Nathan. And lane 10, Graham. Very close at the start of this race. Lane 4 of Philip. He looks like he is going to turn first. Big tumble turn. Pushed up a little bit skew. Lane 5 of Joshua had a very good turn, so he made up a place there. Big push by Philip. He's going to look to try and take back his lead. But I think that Joshua just pipped him at the end, but that was a very strong swim by both those boys. All of them, in fact, in this race. Very hotly contested. We now move on to heat number 5. In lane 6, Dar. Lane 2, Thomas. Lane 3, Caden. Lane 4, Nkosinati. Lane 5, Matthew. Lane 6, Tiger. Lane 7, Michael. Lane 8, Connor. Lane 9, Suyan. And lane 10, Thomas. Swim. Lane 5 of Matthew looks like he has a little bit of a lead, but it's actually very close. lanes 3, 4, and 5. So that's Caden, Kosanati, and Matthew all really close together. Who's going to take it? I do believe it was in Kosanati, but that was really difficult to see. And unbeknownst to me on the far side, Suyan also had a great swim, finishing at the same time as those other 3 boys. Well done to all of them. We now move on to the next heat. Heat number 6 in lane 1, Travis, lane 2, Declan, lane 3, Geto, lane 4, Godfrey, lane 5, Aram, lane 6, Joshua, lane 7, Zane, lane 8, Matthew, lane 9, Matthew, and lane 10, Dion. And off they go. Very strong start. Looks like we're missing some swimmers in this race. Looks like Aram is going to turn first, but very, very closely followed by Keto. Looks like Aram had a really great turn. So he's pulled away a little bit, but the boys are going to fight him off. It is very, very close here. We've got Zane and Matthew on the far side, Keto and Declan. Well done to all those boys. Parents on the side, very, very happy. We now move on to our final heat of this men under 16 50 meters freestyle. Heat number 7. Lane 1, Caden. Lane 2, Nathan. Lane 3, Stefan. Lane 4, Cameron. Lane 5 came, lane 6 Nick, lane 7 Talon, lane 8 Ashwin, lane 9 Ishan, and lane 10 Malachi. Big swinging of the arms. Looks like here in lane 4, that's Cameron. But we have in lane 1, as we look at the turn, Caden. So 2 of them that are fighting for this first place. And then as I say that, we've got in lane 8, Ashwin. He's also pushing. It's going to be a fight to the finish for these 3 boys. Great work. I do believe it was Cameron, followed by Ashwin, and then Caden. That's a very strong swim. We are now changing up strokes. We are moving on to the women under 16 100 meters breaststroke. As the official is just explaining, making sure the swimmers know, it is now 4 lengths. 100 meters. It is a long way for these swimmers. On these level 1 gala days, they only have one race, which is 100 meters. They alternate between all the strokes as well as individual medley. So they will swim 50 meters in all 4 strokes and then 100 meters in one of them. So this week it is breaststroke. In heat number 1, lane 3, Gabriella, lane 4, Tomilola, lane 5, Arabella, lane 6, Kendra, lane 7, Cadence, and lane 8, Hannah. Nice underwaters there, especially by lane 5, Arabella. Arabella's got some nice gliding forward, and we can see she's pulled away a little bit, but it's a long race. Anyone could come back from this. So Arabella will turn first. Then we've got Tomilola, Gabriella, and Kendra almost turning at the same time. Nice close-up from Arabella there. We can see she's gliding forward, moving herself through the water. You see not far behind we have Kendra on the far side in the red cap, and then the two green caps on this side are Gabriella and Tomilola. Gabriella being closest to us. Arabella still working nicely. You can see the gap that she's created here now with this wide angle. Got 3 to 4 body lengths. And it looks like Kendra is pulling away a little bit as well for that second place. See, we've got a fight here between Gabriella and Tomilola for this third place. Great swim by Arabella. She can be so proud. She's going to finish with half a length. And she's still got that same glide and push. You can see hands almost coming out the water. Big two-hand touch. Great swim. Crowd very proud of her, cheering her on. You can see there Kendra, she come in comfortably for second. Now it's a fight here between Gabriella and Tomilola. Who's going to take it? And there Tomilola, followed by Gabriella, very, very close. We have 2 swimmers still out in the field. The 2 swimmers are Cadence and Hannah. So we see Hannah, she's about to come in and finish there. And green cap on the far side, and we see the red cap still swimming. And his Cadence. Doing really well. It is a long way. Breaststroke's a tough, tough stroke. She's going to come in, big two-handed finish. Well done. We now move on to heat number 2 of this 100 meters breaststroke. Lane 1, Tabo. Lane 2, Kenzie. Lane 3, Gabriella. Lane 4, Nina. Lane 5, Olivia. Lane 6, Sophia. Lane 7, Gemma. Lane 8, Willow. Lane 9, Annabelle. And lane 10, Kyra. Pretty even start. We can see in lane 3 that's Gabriella. She has a nice glide, really focusing on pushing that. We can see a big difference as we go to look in the turn. Tabo is got quite a short stroke. Both of them turning very similar, so we have like different techniques here, but we can see that Gabriella's long gliding and quick turn has helped her pull away a little bit. Gabriella with a strong start. And see in lane 6, Sophia. She also is turning quite quickly and opting for that long glide. And out in lane 10, Kyra also sticking with the pack. Gabriella, who's quite far ahead. The rest of the crowd pretty even. It's going to be a fight in this last 25. You can see here Kenzie. As we look into the turn, it looks like she's probably pulled away with second place. The rest of the crowd turning at a similar time. Good swim from Gabriella. Now we have in lane 5, that's Olivia. She's putting foot She's trying to chase down Kenzie, and I think she might just do it. Same as Sophia out in lane 6. She's really going to push. Phenomenal second, or last 25 rather, by Olivia. Great swim from her. She pulled it back to pull away with that second place in this heat. But we can't fault Gabriella. Her technique was flawless. She did a very, very good job. We now move on to heat number 3. In lane 1, Paige. Lane 2, Mika. Lane 3, Mackenzie. Lane 4, Jamie. Lane 5, Oratile. Lane 6, Bly. Lane 7, Michaela. Lane 8, Nuha. Lane 6, Ava. And lane 10, Lulibo. So good underwater there from lane 7, Michaela. We can see she's getting nice and high, big glide forward. As we go into the turn, we can see Paige in lane 1 is also turning quite similarly. Okay. We can see here in lane 1, Paige working really nicely. See the rest of the field starting to stagger. Lane 7 of Michaela. She's still got that nice glide, but Lulibo out in lane 10. She's chasing her down. It's very close from them. It's going to come down to that last 25. You can see just how close they are. The rest of the pack quite staggered, working really hard. It looks like Michaela might just have enough, but Paige is going to make double sure that she chases her down. We are following Michaela. We can see a beautiful technique from her. Does look like she has got enough in the tank to come away from first. Followed by Paige in lane 1, and then Lolibo out in lane 10. Great swim from all three of those ladies. Now we can see Oratile. I do apologize. Bly coming in, as well as Mackenzie. Oratile working her way in now as well. And out in lane 8, Nuha. Looking a little bit more that way so we can see lane 1. Really great swim from all those ladies. We now move on to heat number 4. Lane 1, Kiante. Lane 2, Sakile. Lane 3, Munma. Lane 4, Mika. Lane 5, Ayanda. Lane 6, Jessica. Lane 7, Aneska. Lane 8, Ashley. And lane 9, Emma. And then lane 10, Ruby. So we've seen different techniques used so far in this 100 meters breaststroke. We have ladies that are opting for more of a glide, this longer distance, and then we have ladies that are pushing the stroke rate. As we're coming into the turns here, see it's quite close. We've got closest to us Sakile and Moinma, and then on that far side turning first, we have Aneska. Looks like she's got a little bit of a lead as we zoom in a bit. Mika also working really hard. So in a 50-meter race, you can get away with a little bit more of a stroke rate, a higher stroke rate rather. 100 meters, a little bit longer distance, you might be better off with more of a glide, a lower stroke rate, saving your energy, looking to push it in the last 25. But if you have enough in the tank, then you may up that stroke rate and gas it. You see a nice close-up here of Aneska. She's having a phenomenal swim. She's followed by lane 10 of Ruby. She's had a great middle 50. Let's see if she can push it for this last 25. Sakile is fighting for this third place. See coming in there, Aneska. Really good swim from her, followed by Ruby out in lane 10. We can see here closest to us, battle for third. Who is going to take it? Great last 25 by Monma. She goes and takes that third place. Please remember, ladies and gentlemen, to let us know where you're watching from, who you are watching. We'd love to hear from you. As we move on to heat number 5, lane 1, Leah, lane 2, Chloe, lane 3, Kaylin, lane 4, Hinal, lane 5, Zoe, lane 6, Delani, lane 7, Nolani, the sisters right next to each other, lane 8, Charlotte, lane 6, Ava, and lane 10, Jade. Great underwaters here. In lane 1, that was Leah. She had a good underwater, was last to come up. You see some big gliding. Strong strokes by Kaylin. A little bit of a lower stroke rate than on that far side of Nolani. Also Jade out in lane 10. Really strong work from her. She is just cruising through that water. And Jade does turn first for the second 50 meters. We have a nice close-up of her. She really is swimming so beautifully. She's pulled out 2 to 3 body lengths lead, and it's a fight here for second between Kaylin and Nolani. But it just looks like Kaylin is pushing a little bit harder on this third length of the swim. Going into the last 25, she does have a little bit of a lead. Jade is just cruising ahead. She's had a great swim. Looks like Kaylin has enough to come home with the second place. And now everyone else is chasing down Nolani. She's going to have to work really hard to keep that third in the bag. I do think she has enough in the tank, though. We have a great race here between the other Provost sister and Zoe. They fought it to the end. Well done, ladies. 4 lengths, it is a far swim. We now move on to our next heat, which is actually the next event, the men's under 16 100 meters breaststroke. Again, that is 4 lengths of breaststroke that these boys will be doing. Heat 1, lane 4 Samuel, lane 5 Lenga, lane 6 Joshua, and lane 7 Michael. Nice dive in from these boys. You can see a little bit of confusion there. Samuel just not sure if he was still supposed to be swimming, but look at him, he's pulled it back so beautifully, and he will come into turn first. I think he couldn't see anyone around him. You see Samuel with a great first 25, and now he's pulling away ahead of Joshua, then Michael, then Linga. Samuel has got a beautiful stroke. He does not look like he is gassed at all. Swimming so beautifully. You can see Joshua as well, hanging on. All four of these boys really look like they have so much more to give in the tank. They could just keep going forever. It's on YouTube, on ItsHappening.Africa. YouTube under ItsHappening.Africa. ItsHappening.Africa. It's on our YouTube channel. It's happening. I apologize, I was just letting the people know where they could watch this beautiful stream and watch their amazing moments back. But great swim from all four swimmers. Okay, we now move on to the next heat. Heat number 2, lane 2, Jake, lane 3, Thomas, lane 4, Connor, lane 5, Hayden, lane 6, Cole, lane 7, Philip, and lane 8, Travis. We can see coming in after this first 25, we have out in lane 8, Travis. He turns first, but he's closely followed by Connor in lane 4. Travis has had a great first 50 meters. Will he continue? Have a nice close-up of him. Great stroke rate, big gliding. And we can see here can see here coming into turn is lane 4 of Connor and lane 5 of Hayden. Okay, we now move on to heat number 3, lane 1 Noel, lane 2 Nkosinati, lane 3 Declan, lane 4 Matthew, lane 5 Nathan, lane 6 Arsha, lane 7 Matthew, lane 8 Joshua, lane 9 Zane, and lane 10 Jace. Bit of a goggle malfunction out in lane 6, that's Arsha, but he's not letting it stop him. Great start there in lane 5 from Nathan, as well as lane 3 Declan. Wow, he's really blitzing there. He will be first to touch the wall. So some great technique from Nathan out in lane 5. He's nice and high out the water, trying to get his hands out as well, and to minimize the drag, as well as Noel here in lane 1. See hands out the water, trying to minimize that drag. And lane 10 Jace also turning nicely. Lane 9 Zane. We have a fight here between Nathan and Declan. It looks like Nathan has now just pipped the lead in this third 25. Looks like he's going to turn first, moving into this last 25 meters. Followed by Noel here in lane 1 and Jace in lane 10. They will fight for third place. A close up here of Nathan, who has pulled away a little bit from Declan. But a great swim from both of them. Still holding out his technique. We can see Declan here next to him. And Joel coming in. Still fighting with Jace for that third place. But I do think that Noel has it. Just pips it ahead of Jace. Great swim. Zane out in lane 9. Finishes. Matthew in lane 7. See here Nkosinati pushing to finish his swim. Phenomenal work. It is a far race. It's a long way to swim. Move on to our next heat. Heat number 4 of this men's under 16 100 meters breaststroke. Lane 1 Suyan, lane 2 Nathan, lane 3 Godfrey, lane 4 Bukule, lane 5 Malachi, lane 6 Caden, lane 7 Jonathan, lane 8 Locanyo, lane 6 Ashwin, and lane 10 Chuma. We'll watch the underwaters. Great underwater work there by Bukule in lane 4. We can see he's looking for the big glides. see lane 6 of Caden. He was just having a look around to see where everyone is. And lane 9, Ashwin, I think he just turned, and he had a great underwater, great turn. He looks to be pulling away a little bit, but Caden is fighting back. Chuma out in lane 10, also working really hard. Lots of moving parts here. It looks like Ashwin is going to touch the wall first on this first 50 meters. But like we've seen before, a lot can happen. Malachi out in lane 5 and Bukule also working really hard to stay with the pack. Looks like Ashwin now is pulling away from Caden. Chuma comfortably in that third as it stands. There is our top 3 on the far side. It is a fight here for the rest. You see lanes 1, 2, 4, and 5. That is Suya, Nathan, Bukule, and Malachi also fighting really hard. We can see them all kind of touching now as we go into a nice close-up of Ashwin and see his beautiful strokes. Caden is fighting back, but I do think Ashwin has enough in the tank. He can be very proud of the swim. All of the boys can. And we can see that Chuma on the far side, he's fighting to come in second, but Caden did have enough in the tank. What a great swim by those top 3 boys. And here come the rest of the 4, who also we've seen working so hard. It's going to be really close from them. Does look like Bukule takes it ahead of Nathan, Suyan, and Malachi. And there comes Lacanyo, and then Jonathan. It's a really difficult race to swim this. Your legs burn, your legs burn. We now move on to our next heat, heat number 5. In lane 1, Ishan, lane 2, Kaim, lane 3, Cameron, lane 4, Max, lane 5, Talon, lane 6, Thomas, lane 7, Arham, lane 8, Matthew, lane 9, Stefan, and lane 10, Neil. Please again let us know if you're watching, let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. I do believe that this is our final heat of the 100 breaststroke. On the far side there, Neil, he's got a little bit of an early lead, but we do have Cameron in lane 3 chasing him, as well as Talon in lane 5. He's not giving up just yet. Can see turning here. It's quite a close contest between Cameron and Neil. Coming into this last length, it is really going to be a fight. I don't know who got that. That was a phenomenal race. I don't know who got that between Neil and Cameron. Both can be very proud. We can see Talon here coming in 3rd, followed by Stefan in lane 9 in 4th. We have lane 6 Thomas, lane 8 Matthew, lane 7 Arham. Here comes lane 4 Max. It was a great swim from those boys. What an exciting race. We now move on to our next stroke, which is backstroke. You'll hear the official. She is asking the timekeepers to put the backstroke starters in. So it's just a little ledge that helps you get a little bit more grip on your backstroke start. So swimmers will have to use that, making sure their toes are both on the wall and on the ledge. It's just that little bit of grip. We can see them putting it in now. So we're now moving on to our 50-meter backstroke events. So we'll start with the women, which is the women under 16 50 meters backstroke. In heat 1, lane 4, Isabella, lane 5, Linkle, lane 6, Mkenzo, and lane 7, Ntanda. We apologize for the delay in the race. The officials are just making sure that the backstroke starters are in properly and explaining to the timekeepers what they need to do. Need to make sure that everything is in order before we resume. It looks like we have got it down now. Please let us know if you're watching. Even if you come back and you decide you want to watch a replay of your little one's race, let us know then as well. Swimmers jumping in. Just a reminder, we are now on backstroke. Great swinging of the arms. Very close at this stage. You can see on the turn. All four swimmers really close together. This is quite an exciting finish. Isabella, Linkle, Mkenzo, and Ntanda all very close together. It does look like Linkle and Mkenzo are just pulling away a little bit. It's going to be a fight for first between the two of them. It looks like Mkenzo is just going to take it. Oh, very, very close. I actually don't know with that touch. It might have been Linkle. Well done to all four of those swimmers. What an exciting race to watch. We're now moving on to heat number 2. Lane 1, Amelia. Lane 3, Lane 2 rather, Isabella. Lane 3, Ramika Ella. Lane 4, Tabo. Lane 5, Layla. Lane 6, Gemma. Lane 7, Jessica Taylor. Lane 8, Alia. Lane 9, Zanda. And lane 10, Pia. Swimmers getting ready. That second one means get ready. Officials just making sure that toes are touching the wall and the backstroke starter, or the ledge. Really great start. Some good underwater work there in lane 6 by Gemma. You can hear very loud here in Wahoo. Lots of support. We love to hear it. See coming into the turn. It's very close. See, looks like lane 5 of Layla and lane 7 of Jessica Taylor. Oh, I do apologize, it's lane 4 of Tabo and lane 6 of Gemma. Looks like Gemma is going to come in first. Great swim by her. And then Tabo in lane 4, followed by Jessica Taylor in lane 7. Well done to these ladies. Still have some swimmers in the field. They're coming in. On the far side we have Pia. She's coming in to finish. Okay, we now move on to our next heat, heat number 3. Lane 1, Amakle. Lane 2, Myanmar. Lane 3, Neo. Lane 4, Cadence. Lane 5, Emily. Lane 6, Mahato. Lane 7, Kaylin. Lane 8, Emma. Lane 9, Olivia. And lane 10, Robin. All swimmers in. Getting ready to start. Again, official just saying toes must be on the wall and on the ledge. Hey, we see a very, very strong start. Lane 7, Kaylin. She's going to turn first. She has quite a decent lead. We can see a nice close-up of her. Beautiful swimming, nice kicking, nice streamline. That's a great swim from Kaylin. She could be very proud of herself. Then we have Olivia, who's going to come in second in lane 9. And it's quite a fight here between Robin, but I think Robin is going to take it. Neo out in lane 3, also fighting really hard. Robin takes it. followed by Neo. Great work, ladies. Nice strong swim. Mantle just coming in to finish this race for us. Well done, well done, well done. We now move on to heat number 4. Lane 1, Kendall. Lane 2, Alice. Lane 3, Rorisang. Lane 4, Selena. Lane 5, Ria Betswe. Lane 6, Shakaina. Lane 7, Amani. Lane 8, Kenzie. Lane 9, Kyra. And lane 10, Milani. Boys have still got to swim this as well. Good start for all the swimmers. We have in lane 3, that is Rorisang. She's pushing off first, but followed very closely. We've got out in lane 9 is Kyra, and lane 6 Shakaina. Great swim by all these ladies. Well done, well done, well done. We now move on to heat number 5. Lane 1, Takile. Lane 2, Cara. Lane 3, Gabriella. Lane 4, Katara. Lane 5, Hannah. Lane 6, Willow. Lane 7, Addison. Lane 8, Philippa. Lane 9, Annabelle. And lane 10, Nuha. See some nice height from the ladies, getting nice and high up on the wall, making sure they're pushing very hard with their legs, driving their arms back. Not much in it as we go into the first 25. Those look like a bit of a fumble on her tumble, a little bit of her lead. So look on the far side, we've got Addison and Philippa a little bit ahead, but Sakile is fighting back again. It is very close indeed. And we got the officials just checking to make sure that they are on the starting ledges correctly. It's a really good experience for these young swimmers. So as they go to more competitions in their lifetime and across the country, they'll make sure that they do not get disqualified for small things. Quite even in the first half of this first length. As we go into the turn here, not much of an edge from the crowd. Great tumble turn there by Nolani. She's being chased down by Mila. Looks like Nolani is going to come away with that first place. She had a great second 25, followed closely by Mila. Great work. Okay, we now move on to heat number 7. In lane 1, Lily. Lane 2, Gabriella. Lane 3, Chloe. Lane 4, Oratile. Lane 5, Kaylin. Lane 6, Isabella. Lane 7, Kimberly. Lane 8, Sophia. Lane 9, Olivia. And lane 10, Atrissa. Remember to let us know where you're watching from, who you're watching, who you're supporting. We'd love to hear from you. Big swinging of the arms, lots of white water. You can see a little bit of an early lead from Kaylin. But Gabriella in lane 2 is also looking to fight back. Actually looks like Gabriella is going to turn first. Beautiful turn from her. Timed her strokes beautifully. Turn over, tumble turn. Great work. But we do have Kaylin chasing down as well. There's going to be a fight between Gabriella and Kaylin. Great work. That's quite difficult to see. And unfortunately the board is down, so I won't be able to tell you officially. But that was a great swim by those two ladies and everyone involved as well. We now move on to heat number 8. In lane 1, we have Ayanda. Lane 2, Kenzie. Lane 3, Kiante. Lane 4, Kendra. Lane 5, Bly. Lane 6, Lalona. Lane 7, Tomilola. Lane 8, Ashley. Lane 9, Ane. And lane 10, Delani. Official just reminding everyone at the venue that there are ribbons for first, second and third places in your age group. So not necessarily in your heat, but in your age group. Quite a nice incentive for all the swimmers to see a little reward for all their hard work. Nothing much in this first half. You see as we go into the turn though, Kenzie has pulled away a little bit, so she will be the first to turn here in lane 2 closest to our screen. Lane 10, Delani also turning really beautifully. Lane 3, 4, Kendry. pups are working hard, trying to chase down. Does look like Kenzie. We can see on our screen she is going to come home first. It's going to be a fight for second and third here. I do believe Blair's got it out in lane 5. I am wrong. It was Delani out in lane 10. She just pipped it on that touch. Great work from her. Lane 5 of Bly, she did come third. We now move on to heat number 9. In lane 1, Blakely, lane 2, Mika, lane 3, Nina, lane 4, Lulibo, lane 5, Arabella, lane 6, Charlotte, lane 7, Mackenzie, lane 8, Ava, lane 9, Revo, and lane 10, Isla. And away they go. Some good underwaters there. So good underwater from lane 6, I believe, Charlotte. So we go into this turn here, not much. Does look like Charlotte might turn first, but only just. We'll see variations of turns, which might differentiate them. Charlotte is looking to pull away a little bit. She's closely followed by Arabella and Lolibo. Does look like it's going to be the 3 of them, but the rest of the crowd is fighting back. It's a very close race. Good work there by Charlotte. She had a great turn, which I think definitely put her on the front foot for that second 25. Good swim from everyone, well done. We now move on to heat number 10. In lane 1, we have Mika, lane 2, Ava, lane 3, Jamie, lane 4, Michaela, lane 5, Aneshka, lane 6, Jade, lane 7, Zoe, lane 8, Zoe, lane 9, Leah, and lane 10, Ruby. I do believe that this is our final women's 50-meter backstroke race of the day. Big push off from everyone. Whole field very, very close together. That's what we love to see as we go into this turn. It looks like lane 4 of Michaela just turns first, but again, not much in it, but she did have a good turn. So we can see now she's pulled away a little bit. She's being chased down by Zoe out in lane 7. Oh, it's going to be a close finish. Who's going to take it? It might be Zoe. And it is. Zoe just pips it ahead of Michaela. What a great second 25 from her. Michaela had a great start, a good turn, and Zoe just had a little bit more in the tank. Well done to all these ladies. We now move on to event number 6, which is our men under 16 50 meters backstroke. In heat 1, lane 3, Noah, lane 4, Jaden, lane 5, Caleb, lane 6, Ben, and lane 7, Joshua. Good swim by these boys. You probably find this year was the first time that they've used the starting blocks. Like I mentioned before, very good experience for them. Hello? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize. We did seem to lose audio on our commentary mic. I'm not entirely sure when it happened, but we are back now. We are moving on to heat number 4 of our men's under 16 50 meters backstroke. In lane 1, Jonathan. Lane 2, Olerato. Lane 3, Hayden. Lane 4, Kyle. Lane 5, Alexander. Lane 6, Matthew. Lane 7, Dar. Lane 8, Soren. Lane 9, Mihan. And lane 10, Samuel. Big swinging of the arms by all of the boys. Nothing much at the moment as we look at their turns. It does look like out in lane. Dar did touch first. He does look like he's got a little bit of a lead, but he is being chased down. Matthew and Hayden, they both chasing him down in lanes 6 and 3 respectively. We now move on to heat number 5 of this men's under 16 50 meters backstroke. In lane 1, Philip. Lane 2, Oliver. Lane 3, Nkosinati. Lane 4, Thomas. Lane 5, Suyan. Lane 6, Dian. Lane 7, Malachi. Lane 8, Tiger. Lane 9, Max. And lane 10, Michael. The officials just making sure that those ledges or those backstroke starters are down properly, making sure they're not twisted. It's a very great experience for these young swimmers to use these backstroke starters for more competitions in their life. For some of them this year was probably the first time that they have used these backstroke starters. Officials again just explaining that your toes must touch the ledge and the wall. Looks like Dian out in lane 6. He's going to turn first. It's very closely followed by Thomas, accompanied by Nkosinati and Philip. Nkosinati with a nice big tumble. With Dian, they are going to fight it out. Nkosinati with the stronger stroke rate. He is pushing himself. Dian is still clinging on, but I think Nkosinati does have enough in the tank. Even Malachi out in lane 7, he's going to fight. It's going to come down to the wire. Malachi might take it. Oh, very, very, very close. And I do think that Malachi just pipped Nkosinati at the end. It's Malachi followed by Nkosinati. And then Philip out in lane 1. Without any of us knowing, he came and pipped 3rd place. Really great work by all those swimmers. We now move on to heat number 6. In lane 1, Matthew. Lane 2, Godfrey. Lane 3, Caden. Lane 4, Travis. Lane 5, Connor. Lane 6, Matthew. Lane 7, Declan. Lane 8, Ishan. Lane 9, Keto. And lane 10, Thomas. And we're away in this 50 meters backstroke. We can see out in lane 6, that's Matthew. He's had a very strong start. Looks like he is going to turn first. As we look at the turns here, you can see him towards the top of your screen. Big tumble turn, great work. You can see right next to him, though, that was Declan. Declan had a great turn as well. Very close to call here at this point. Does look like it's going to be Matthew ahead of Declan, but Declan is coming to take him. I think Declan's just going to take him right at the end here. Oh, and he does. Declan just pips Matthew. And then on the far side, Peto, he went and got 3rd place. Really great second 25 by Declan. Well done to him. We now move on to heat number 6 of this men's 50-meter backstroke. In lane we just had heat number 6, I do apologize. So in heat number 7, in lane 1 we have Zane, lane 2 Caden, lane 3 Talon, lane 4 Cameron, lane 5 Nick, lane 6 Ashwin, lane 7 Stefan, lane 8 Nathan, lane 9 Arham, and lane 10 Joshua. Looks like Joshua in lane 10 and Nick in lane 5 are not swimming this race. Very strong start by Cameron in lane 4. Looks like this is the final backstroke race. Let's see what Cameron can do. Looks like he's pulling away quite nicely, but he is being chased by Ashwin. Ashwin is having a strong second 25. See as they're coming into the flags, it's going to be really close. And it's Cameron ahead of Ashwin, very close. And for 3rd place, I do believe that is Nathan out in lane 8. Really strong swimming by all these boys. Quite exciting. Cameron and Ashwin right until the end. We are now moving on to event number 7, which is the women's under 16 50 meters butterfly. Just to let you know what's happening for the rest of the afternoon, we have 2 more strokes left. So we have 50 meters butterfly, then we have 50 meters breaststroke. This is quite a long way for these girls to swim. It's quite a tough stroke for butterfly. In heat 1, lane 2 we have Pia, lane 3 Ria Betswe, lane 4 Layla, lane 5 Gemma, lane 6 Jamie, lane 7 Olivia, lane 8 Philippa, and lane 9 Sophia. Great technique there in the middle by Gemma. Really wiggling the body, getting the arms up and over her head. It's a very tough stroke to swim. Looks like Gemma is going to take it. We can see her on the screen, as well as Olivia. Both doing really well. All of these swimmers, like I said, it is a very tough stroke to swim, and it is far for them to swim. Well done to Gemma. Followed by Olivia, Philippa, and Sophia. Well done to them. You can see the last 2 swimmers coming in, really struggling to get their arms up, but working really hard. We're so proud of them. That's Sophia and Layla. They come in to finish. Well done to them. Now move on to heat number 2. In lane 1, Ruby. Lane 2, Ashley. Lane 3, Jessica. Lane 4, Kyra. Lane 5, Kwani. Lane 6, Annabelle. Lane 7, Kaylin. Lane 8, Aneska. Lane 9, Emma. And lane 10, Michaela. officials just asking the ladies to stand down. I think swimmers in the pool just moving around a little bit too much, a little bit difficult for an overhead start. They do have to have their arms crossed over the lane rope and their feet directly underneath them so as not to disturb the swimmers that are diving in above them. Back on the blocks they go. Great start on the far side there. Aneska and Michaela really wiggling their bodies. Beautiful technique from both of them, as well as Kaylin. Aneska had a great turn. She does have a little bit of the lead now, coming nice and high. You can see how beautiful her technique is. Get a nice close-up of her as she is going to come in and take the first place. Great swim from her as well, 39 seconds. Followed by Michaela in lane 10 and Kaylin in lane 7. We'll see the rest of the swimmers coming in now. Well done to them. Now move on to heat number 3. In lane 1, Tomilola, lane 2, Kiante, lane 3, Chloe, lane 4, Sophia, lane 5, Tabo, lane 6, Sumila, lane 7, Kendry, lane 8, Kenzie, lane 9, Ramika Ella, and lane 10, Nolani. Great big dive, swinging those arms. Nothing really at this point in time. The pack is very close together. It does look like lane 7 of Kendry, she did touch the wall first and she's had a great turn, so she does have a bit of a lead now. You can see a nice close-up of her. Kendry is going to come and take the win. And yeah, it is very electric in the center. Everyone is super excited. Well done to Kendry, followed by Nolani. See parents screaming, super excited. Well done to these swimmers. That was a fantastic, fantastic swim. Now move on to heat number 4. Lane 1, Mika. Lane 2, Jelani. Lane 3, Nina. Lane 4, Leah. Lane 5, Bly. Lane 6, Oratile. Lane 7, Ava. Lane 8, Gabriella. Lane 9, Sophia. And lane 10, Isabella. Please, once again, let us know where you're watching from, who you're watching, who you're cheering for. And if you're watching back, let us know as well. Thank you so much, Mel. Sorry, we were just looking at the comments now. I did realize that there was a issue with the audio, but we're back up and running. I'm glad to hear that you guys are enjoying our stream. Coming into this turn, and have a look. Looks like out in lane 6, that is Oratile. She did turn first, but it is very close to the rest of the pack. She's had a good turn. She does have about a body length lead. The rest of the pack is right up against each other. Who is going to take the second and third place? Swimmers are right up next to each other. It's going to be very difficult to see. Very, very great work from Oratile. She comes home comfortably in first. And then I do believe It is lane 8 of Gabriella. Came home in second. And then lane 7, Ava. She took third place in that heat. Now move on to heat number 5. Lane 1, Ayanda. Lane 2, Ava. Lane 3, Charlotte. Lane 4, Zoe. Lane 5, Zoe. Lane 6, Lulibo. Lane 7, Mika. Lane 8, Arabella. Lane 9, Revo. And lane 10, Mackenzie. It looks like in lane 5 that is Zoe Ross. So she is going to touch first in turn. The crowd cheering on their friends and fellow swimmers. It's going to be close for second place. I think that Lolibo out in lane 6 is going to take it. And she does. Very close to the rest of the crowd. I think that Nika out in lane 7 took that third place. Well done to all the swimmers. We are now moving on to our 8th event, which is our men under 16 50 meters butterfly. Heat number 1, lane 3, Chris. Lane 4, Caden. Lane 5, Arsha. Lane 6, Chuma. Lane 7, Jace. And lane 8, Cole. Very beautiful technique from these boys. See here in lane 4, Caden. He's got a big reach, as well as lane 6 of Chuma. Both of them are turning pretty much at the same time. It's going to be a fight in this last 25. Oh, Caden just pulling away. Chuma holding on though. What a beautiful swim. Caden followed by Chuma. And it does look like Cole out in lane 8 will come home in third place. That was a beautiful swim. Beautiful technique by all the boys, getting them to the end. We're now moving on to the second heat of this event. Lane 1, Neil. Lane 2, Nathan. Lane 3, Olerato. Lane 4, Tega. Lane 5, Thomas. Lane 6, Suyan. Lane 7, Godfrey. Lane 8, Oliver. Lane 9, Jude. And lane 10, Locanio. Keep a lookout for Jude in lane 9. He has crushed his races so far. He has gone out hot off the blocks. He does have a lead already, but lane 1 here, Neil is chasing him down as well as we go into the turn. You can see Jude is touching first, but Neil is very close to him. Rest of the pack coming through strong. There's going to be a fight here between the two of them. Jude just looking like he's maybe gone out a little bit too hot. He's really fighting to keep it in. I do think Jude's going to have enough in the gas, in the tank. But Neil is fighting. I think Neil pipped it. He did. Neil got it ahead of Jude. Well done. What a great swim. The rest of the crowd coming through. Looks like Lucanio out in lane 10, he got third place. The rest of the crowd finishing. Beautiful swimming. Neil had a great second 25. I think Jude just feeling a little bit tired. You could see his, there was a little bit more white water as he was really pushing, fighting to get to the end, and Neil just had a little bit more in his tank. Now move on to heat number 3. In lane 1 in Kosanati. Lane 2 Matthew. Lane 3 Max. Lane 4 Stefan. Lane 5 Matthew. Lane 6 Malachi. Lane 7 Zane. Lane 8 Declan. Lane 9 Joshua. And lane 10 Thomas. Very, very, very close starts in this first 25 as we look at the turn. Oh, very difficult to know who's got the lead here. Out in lane 6, that was Malachi. He did come up first, and it looks like he has an ever so slight lead, but it's too soon to tell. Great swim, great swim. Very close at the end there. And that's what we love to see, the competitive races. It shows that the boys are swimming so beautifully. We now move on to our next heat, which is heat number 4. In lane 1, Ashwin. Lane 2, Travis. Lane 3, Aishan. Lane 4, Caden. Lane 5, Chaim. Lane 6, Cameron. Lane 7, Talon. Lane 8, Bukule. Lane 9, Arham. And lane 10, Matthew. Lane 6, Cameron. He's had a good start. You can see his technique is really beautiful. Very rhythmic. And slowing the stroke rate down. Let's have a nice lead going into the second 25. We'll follow along here. See the whole crowd. Cameron is going to come away with that first place. And it is a fight for second here. Oh, beautiful. Let's see who took it. And I do think it was Bukule who just touched ahead of Ashwin out in lane 1 actually. And then Talon out in lane 7. All three of those boys touching virtually at the same time. Beautiful work by them. We now move on to our final stroke of the morning, which is 50 meters breaststroke. So event number 9 is women's under 16 15 meters breaststroke. Heat 1, lane 3 Emily, lane 4 Linkley, lane 5 Mackenzo, lane 6 Chloe, lane 7 Leah, and lane 8 Ntanda. officials just explaining something to the swimmers, and now they are up on the blocks to start. Remember, a lot of these swimmers probably would have already swum the 100 meters breaststroke, and now they are just doing 50. So you might see a quicker stroke rate as they only have 2 lengths to swim in this pool. You can see Linkle in lane 4. She has a little bit of a lead ahead of Chloe out in lane 6. They both kind of turn at the same time, so it's going to be interesting to see what this second 25 brings us. Chloe looks like she's working really hard. Linkle going to hold on. Good second 25 from Chloe. She really held on. Great work from her and Linkle. And then out Ntanda in lane 8. She does come home third. Mkenzo in lane 5. Well done to these swimmers. Leah finishing as well as Emily. We now move on to our second heat of this event. In lane 1, Isabella. Lane 2, Alia. Lane 3, Jessica Taylor. Lane 4, Olivia. Lane 5, Jamie. Lane 6, Gemma. Lane 7, Layla. Lane 8, Zanda. And lane 9, Amelia. Some nice underwater work from these ladies. You can see the stroke rates quite a lot quicker. See Archer in lane 3, Jessica Taylor. She is pushing it. She is comfortably turning first. Oh, but Gemma out in lane 6. She's coming to play. She's going to fight Jessica Taylor right into the end. As well as Olivia out in lane 4. The 3 of them working really hard right until the end. Gemma's had a great second 25. I think she might just take it. No, Jessica Taylor followed by Gemma, followed by Olivia. Well done to these ladies. Good swim. We now move on to heat number 3. Lane 1, Robin. Lane 2, Emma. Lane 3, Kaylin. Lane 4, Cara. Lane 5, Ramika Ella. Lane 6, Katara. Lane 7, Cadence. Lane 8, Neo. Lane 9, Muinma. And lane 10, Amakle. Big shouts for people that they love in the crowd here. We'd love to see the same in the comments on our stream. Please let us know who you're supporting, where you're supporting from, and if you're watching it back, still let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Here in lane 3, Kaylin, as we look at the turn, she is comfortably in the lead. She's being chased down by Robin in lane 1, but I don't think that's going to stop Kaylin from coming home with this W. Maybe even out in lane 6, Katara. She's coming for that third. Great work there by Kaylin. Yeah, lots of shouting from families on the side. We love to see it. Well done to all of these swimmers. Beautiful, beautiful swim. We now move on to our fourth heat of this event, which is the 50 meters breaststroke. In lane 1, Kendall, lane 2, Alice, lane 3, Hannah, lane 4, Mahato, lane 5, Selena, lane 6, Amani, lane 7, Philippa, lane 8, Riobetswe, lane 9, Isla, and lane 10, Milani. We see on the far side, just have a final swimmer finishing. Great work to her, it is a far away. Big applause from the crowd. As our swimmers from heat 4 step up onto the blocks. Looks like on the far side, Isla out in lane 9. She has a little bit of a lead going into the end of this first 25, but we have a lot fighting back. As we look at this turn, it is Isla who's going to touch first, but Mahato in lane 4 is not letting her go so easily. Does look like Isla has this in the bag. The rest of the crowd fighting, we can see on our screens there for second place. Looks like Mahato might take this. But we have Selena fighting back as well. We can hear the crowd cheering for her. Does look like Mahato did take that second place, followed by Selena. Well done to these ladies. We now move on to heat number 5. In lane 1, Willow. Lane 2, Kenzie. Lane 3, Emma. Lane 4, Leah. Lane 5, Sophia. Lane 6, Annabelle. Lane 7, Nina. Lane 8, Olivia. Lane 9, Atrissa. And lane 10, Pia. Quite a tight race at the moment. We can see closest to us in lane 2, Kenzie and Trissa out in lane 8. They are going to touch relatively at the same time ahead of the rest of the pack, but not by much. Some good underwaters there on the far side by Trissa. We can follow along. Following along here with the crowd. I do believe that Atrissa will come home to take it. Followed closely by Kenzie. The rest of the crowd fighting back to stay in this race. There goes Atrissa. Here comes Kenzie. followed by, I think, Olivia out in lane 8. It was actually Emma who took it out in lane 3, and Nina in lane 7. Well done, ladies. We now move on to heat number 6. In lane 1, Kiante, lane 2, Jessica, lane 3, Ashley, lane 4, Koani, lane 5, Sophia, lane 6, Kimberly, lane 7, Tomilola, lane 8, Kendry, lane 9, Rory Sung, and lane 10, Ane. Looks like out in lane 6, Kimberly, and closest to us, Ashley in lane 3. They are going to touch first. Both some lovely underwaters. We'll follow along a little bit closer now, and you can see just how great and how close that competition is. It looks like Sophia is chasing Kimberly out in lane 6, who does come home first, and then Ashley in lane 3. Well done to those swimmers. We now move on to heat number 7. In lane 1, we have Addison, lane 2, Shekinah, lane 3, Lalona, lane 4, Shuvluva, lane 5, Kyra, 6, Takile, 7, Katie, 8, Gabriella, 9, Sumila, and in lane 10, Oretile. We have a bit of a cap malfunction in the middle of the pool. She's just trying to hold on. Very, very close race, this one. I think one of the closest ones we've had so far. Everyone touching pretty much at the same time. It's all going to come into this last 25. Looks like lane 7 of Katie. I do apologize. Lane 6 of Takile, I think, has got a little bit of an edge. But lane 5, Kyra is fighting back as well. I think the two of them are going to fight for that first place. I think Katie might just have it ahead of Takile. But Takile is going to fight. And so is Katie. I think it was Kyra of lane 5, followed by Katie of lane 7, and then Takile of lane 6. Well done, great fight. Very exciting race to watch. Didn't really know who was in it right until the end. We're now moving on to heat number 8. In lane 1, Mika, lane 2, Hinal, lane 3, Mila, lane 4, Blakely, lane 5, Nuha, lane 6, Ava, lane 7, Arabella, lane 8, Tabo, lane 9, Kenzie, and lane 10, Mika. Again, another very close race. Does look like lane 3 of Mila. She is going to touch first, but very closely followed by Arabella in lane 7. Arabella and Mila They're fighting. It does look like Arabella is going to take it ahead of Bila. And she does. Great, great, great swim. That was a nice second 25 by Arabella there. We now move on to heat number 9. In lane 1, Ava. Lane 2, Sophia. Lane 3, Chloe. Lane 4, Zoe. Lane 5, Nolani. Lane 6, Delani. The Pravas sisters back next to each other again. Lane 7, Bly. Lane 8, Mackenzie. Lane 9, Revo. And lane 10, Gabriella. Great underwater work here by Zoe, and we can see she's really pushing that glide. We saw that in her 100 meters as well. As we look at the turn, she has an ever so slight lead, but it's not that much on Nolani. Nolani looking to fight back. She might just take the win actually. Her stroke rate's a lot higher, looking to push ever so slightly ahead. Zoe's still pushing in. I think Nolani is going to take this first place. Great second 25 from her. Next is Zoe. And I think on the far side in lane 9, Revo, I believe that she took third place. Great second 25 work there by Delani to come home with that W. We now move on to the final women's race of the morning, which is heat number 10 of the women's under 16 50 meters breaststroke. In lane 1, Charlotte. Lane 2, Zoe. Lane 3, Kaylin. Lane 4, Lolibo. Lane 5, Jade. Lane 6, Aneska. Lane 7, Michaela. Lane 8, Paige. Lane 9, Ruby. And lane 10, Ayanda. We've seen these two fight it up before. Lane 3 of Kaylin and lane 5 of Jade. Jade is going to touch first, but Kaylin is hot on her tail. Pushing really hard to try and pull away here. Those two pulling away from the rest of the pack. It's going to be very difficult to see who gets third place. I do believe that out in lane 7, Michaela does have a little bit of an edge on the rest of them, but it's all going to come down into these last 5 meters. There goes Jade to take that win, followed by Kaylin in lane 3 and Michaela in lane 7. Nice swim from all these ladies. We are now moving on to our final event of the morning, which is the men's under 16 50 meters breaststroke. Heat 1, lane 2, Noah. Lane 3, Jaden. Lane 4, Noel. Lane 5, Ayanda. Lane 6, Jace. Lane 7, Ben. And lane 8, Lesedi. Big dive we can already see out in lane 4. It's Noel who's got a little bit of a lead. We saw his technique earlier and we loved it, and we'll see it again. But in lane 6, Jace, he's not giving up without a fight. They are fighting each other. Lots of support for Noel in the crowd, all shouting, "Go Noel!" Jace is fighting him though. I do think that Jace might actually have a little bit more on him. It's going to come down to the touch here. And it is Jace ahead of Noel. Jace had a really, really great second 25. See Ayanda here in lane 5 doing some beautiful swimming. I've seen him before, whole crowd getting behind him. Ayanda working really hard in these last 6 or 7 meters. Ayanda coming home just as the final swimmer of this race. Whole centre applauding, well done to him. We now move on to heat number 2. In lane 1, Chris. In lane 2, Kishav. Lane 3, Alexander. Lane 4, Nathan. Lane 5, Ethan. Lane 6, Chuma. Lane 7, Asha. Lane 8, Keto. Lane 9, Caleb. And lane 10, Cole. Officials just asking the boys to stand down. Big dive. Some good underwater work. Again, out in lane 4, Nathan, we've seen this story before. Check his beautiful technique up and out the water. He is going to touch first, closely followed by Chuma out in lane 6. See them in the middle. We will get a close-up here of this beautiful technique we've been talking about from Nathan. Great work from him. And as we zoom out, we'll see Chuma close behind in second place. Great swim from Nathan and from Chuma. And out in lane 8, we have Keto, who's coming in third place. Cole out in lane 10. In comes Chris in lane 1. Asha in lane 7. And Caleb is going to bring it home in lane 9. Big shout out to all the volunteer timekeepers at this gala today. All parents giving up their mornings to come and volunteer. Big round of applause from the crowd. We're now moving on to heat number 3 of this 50 meters breaststroke. Lane 1, Neil. Lane 2, Lenga. Lane 3, Graham. Lane 4, Philip. Lane 5, Hayden. Lane 6, Michael. Lane 7, Joshua. Lane 8, Hugh. Lane 9, Nick. And lane 10, Locanio. Big shout out to the supporters of all these swimmers, both on the stream and in person. We thank you for your support of your swimmers. Please let us know who you're watching, where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear from you and see where you're watching from. Cheering for Leah, Gabriella, and Max Ibumba. Amazing. And well done to Zanda. Thank you so much for leaving us some comments. Remember, if you go and look back, please also leave us some comments. We're so glad that we can bring that gala to loved ones if they cannot make it in person. Back to the action now after all of those well-deserved thank yous. See out in lane 1 here, Neil, he is hot off the blocks. He already has a very decent lead. As we go to the turn here, we can see just how far. No swimmers in sight just yet as he's turning. Still no swimmers as he's turned the other way. And there comes Philip in lane 4. We have a nice close-up here. Big technique, strong legs, really driving through. See, it's a fight for the rest of the pack here. But you can just see the vast lead that he has created for himself. But in our screens now, Philip coming through in lane 4. And out on the far side, Joshua in lane 7. Really, really great swim from all the boys. We can see here in lane 8, that's Hugh. He's bringing it home for us. Well done to him. Now move on to heat number 4. In lane 1, Max. Lane 2, Olerato. Lane 3, Ishan. Lane 4, Jake. Lane 5, Kyle. Lane 6, Tega. Lane 7, Thomas. Lane 8, Mihan. Lane 9, Kosanati. And lane 10, Oliver. Officials just reminding the kids in the pool again to stay still on the overhead star to not distract the next swimmers. We have a goggle malfunction in lane 2 of Olerato, but he's not going to let him stop him. He is going to keep swimming. Very closely contested here at the moment. I think Thomas in lane 7 might have a slight lead, but that is not too big. Actually, in lane 6, Tega is now taking it a bit, but they are touching virtually at the same time. Very close race here. Does look like lane 6 of Tega does have it in him to take the W. Who will get second and third? Close between Kyle and Ishan. Oh, I don't actually know who got that. It was Kyle, according to the board. Kyle took away the second place, and then actually Thomas, I do apologize, in lane 7. He came home in third. We're now moving on to heat number 5. In lane 1, Matthew. Lane 2, Jonathan. Lane 3, Caden. Lane 4, Soren. Lane 5, Arham. Lane 6, Matthew. Lane 7, Zane. Lane 8, Connor. Lane 9, Samuel. And lane 10, Max. big dive from all of the swimmers. Nice big underwaters. Stroke rate nice and high for this 50 meters breaststroke, a lot higher than what we saw in the 100 meters. As they're coming to the turn here, we've got Jonathan in lane 2, who looks like he's going to turn first in this first 25 meters. But all very close. We've got 5 swimmers right up next to each other. It does look like Jonathan has a little bit of a lead. It's going to be very close. Hayden next to Jonathan, also fighting. On the far side, we've got in lane 6, Matthew, also fighting. Well done to Jonathan out in lane 2. He does come home in first, and then Matthew out in lane 6, he comes home second, and then lane 3, Caden comes home in third. Well done to those boys. We now have our penultimate heat, or penultimate race rather. Heat number 6, lane 1, Matthew, lane 2, Thomas, lane 3, Godfrey, lane 4, Travis, lane 5, Declan, lane 6, Dion, lane 7, Dar, lane 8, Michael, lane 9, Suyan, and lane 10, Nathan. Very close race again. It's been the theme of the morning, which we love to see. Looks like in lane 5, that's Declan. He is going to touch first, but very close behind him are the rest of the pack. Declan's got some fans on the side of the pool here shouting for him. Declan has pulled away. He's had a great second 25. We can see a nice close-up. It is going to be very close for second and third. I might have to look at the board. Out on the far side, that's Suyan. He's coming in hot. I think he's going to take second, and he does. Great work, and I think maybe even Nathan out in lane 10, he does take third. Well done to all of those boys. That was a great race to watch. We love a competitive race. We now move on to our final race of the morning. It is heat number 7 of this men's under 16 50 meters breaststroke rather. In lane 1, Malachi, lane 2, Stefan, lane 3, Bukule, lane 4, Talon, lane 5, Cameron, lane 6, Kame, lane 7, Caden, lane 8, Ashwin, lane 9, Nathan, and lane 10, Joshua. Big dives from these boys, big pushes with the arms and the legs. And see some beautiful technique out in the middle there by Cameron. Driving up and high with his chest. Pushing forward with his legs. He is going to touch first, but very close is Stefan here in lane 2. I actually think they touch at the same time. But beautiful underwater work as well there by Ashwin out in lane 8. It's going to be very close here. I do think that Cameron has enough, but he is getting chased down by Ashwin in lane 8. It's going to come down to this last 5 meters. Maybe Ashwin will take it. Oh, and Nathan takes it on the touch, followed by Ashwin, followed by Stefan. Great work from all of those swimmers. Thank you so much to everyone for watching the stream. We do appreciate you. We love your support. Please don't forget to drop us a comment and let us know how you found the stream. Thank you and goodbye.